the Val pick.
Yep. And kind of like we said earlier, right? Like Southeast Asia, it's got its own meta right now, and it seems to be pretty like fast attacky and gauntlet based right now. Plum with a great start with his spear, got that double downlight into the side air. That's some good extra damage there with that spear.
Yeah, I feel like Plum is very, very comfortable on picks like this, especially with the spear. You're going to find a lot of difficulty dealing with a lot of these weapons that build up a lot of space. Plum is really good at conditioning bad dodges and stuff like that. Sphinx also, though, as we saw very early on, very bursty player, looking to get his way into the things. But with the sword online, looking to get smothered a little bit here. Nice GC side light from Plum, a nice attempt side air. Send it to the stage where it doesn't set up into anything crazy, but a down air into side sig. And Plum now gets for game. You make it back, go for the side sig, miss the side sig. But very, very close game. Not in terms of damage, but in terms of vibes. I feel like both of them have definitely taken shots to take the KO early here. None have really landed, though.
Yeah, it's been pretty back and forth between the two of them. Like you said, Sphinx has those burst out moments. He is a little bit behind here in the damage department, as Plum definitely one good hit away from knocking Sphinx down to that second stock. But right now, Sphinx in the driver's seat here. He's got that stage control.
Nice dodge on that downer, knowing that Plum is going to look for the reversal there. The side air is deep, but that recovery will find its mark as Plum is able to take the first stock here and first strike. In this set, we see a weapon toss and a weapon starve here. We're going to hold on to this very sharp-looking spear as the side light comes in as well.
Yeah, he's been looking at that candy cane, making sure it is nice and pointy. Sphinx, though, just one good downlight into a recovery away, but Plum not going to give him that opportunity right now.
Big side air reversal, another side stick comes out, but Plum dips underneath the stage as deep as possible so you don't get hit by that kind of horizontal diagonal range that side sig on the Val can definitely hit. As a down air comes in, and Sphinx going for the very exhausted recovery, but still makes it back. GC side light into Nair, doesn't find the Nair, but Sphinx is definitely struggling right now as an N-sig comes out from Plum. And Sphinx is yet to find any KO option. The D-lights are obvious. Like, that's obviously what you want. You finally find one there. But Plum was really good at jumping over them. But that time, not quite enough height on the Chun-Li for Sphinx to take that stock.
Yeah, that took him a while there. Ended up getting a lot of damage put out onto him. 120 damage on the side of Plum. So this is a really good advantage. Oh, what a big read attempt there with a gravity cancel down sig towards the stage. It's just a little off the mark.
Yeah, absolutely. Definitely trying to catch Sphinx, dodging through and getting back to the stage with a quickness. I mean, I feel like that's kind of the spot that Sphinx has found a lot of success in, is reversaling Plum, setting himself off stage, and then going for like the Val stuff. We see the down air attempt there onto the wall, but a recovery from Plum. Weapon toss, flashbang, doesn't find the unarmed recovery though.
Hits him with the down air and immediate dash away. This is a good spot for him. Plum's recovery was burned, but good fastfall there on Plum's side. Gets him that recovery on the Sphinx. Just more good damage. Just one hit away on the side of Plum to take another stock up of Sphinx.
And now Sphinx with the sword in hand is going to be able to find a lot of confirmed damage here. Plum definitely knowing that, and you see Plum expending a lot of resources to not land right in front of Sphinx. And he actually gets a mix-up there as he dodges in place and then lands, turns around, and lights the other way. He's just definitely the name of the game is to avoid the downlights, because that's what Sphinx basically has only found on the sword besides side lights as well. And side lights definitely don't really mean that much in terms of the damage, but definitely do on the gauntlets, going for the exhausted recovery into the Nair for Plum as he tries to reversal that and find a cheesy way to take game number one, but Sphinx won't fall that easily.
Yeah, like, I don't want to be too disrespectful to Sphinx, obviously coming in here as a second seed, a fantastic player on the side of Southeast Asia, but I feel like his decision making has been pretty like obvious in a way. Like Plum's like, okay, I know that you're looking for sword downlight, so I'm gonna just play a little bit more aerial. I know you're looking for recovery off your side air, so I'm just gonna make sure that I'm not in position to get caught by that. Like, I feel like Plum already knows what Sphinx wants to do.
And the really great benefit of playing Val is that when you're like playing somebody that's very, very jump heavy because they're trying to avoid downlight, you have gauntlets and you have like really great options at covering those jumps. Like dash jump Nair, like we saw Sphinx already start off this stock with, is really, really solid into options like that. Going for the ground pound there, kind of risking it all in a sense, but Plum doesn't get a reversal, and Sphinx fighting back into this game. The side air misses, but Sphinx gets a whip punish. No dodge now from Plum, and the side stick comes out and Sphinx steals the game away as Plum had such a big lead, but no dodge leads into a side stick that KOs so early on Demon Island.
That's wild, man. Sphinx is so good at kind of throwing in that weird option just at that last minute. Like we saw those burst outs, we saw the sword side sigs on the corner, and then that right there, that side sig with the gauntlets in that moment. It's just like, I know I was being critical earlier, but I think that almost played to his advantage, where it's like, oh, he's so obvious with what he wants to do until he's not, and then he throws out that one sig that actually gets him a game.
Yeah, absolutely. I definitely think that Sphinx like heavily conditioned Plum. Like Plum was jumping a lot. Plum was like playing very aerially based, and then as soon as Plum goes for like another aerial option, but in this time expending a dodge to try to get a read on Sphinx trying to catch him in the air, Sphinx reads it, avoids it, and then gets an insane punish on the Val. That's something that you see from Val, is having those signatures that cover so much of where exactly you want to cover with a KO option, and he's able to take that stock very, very handily there. And that's really, really good for Sphinx, obviously, as he's able to take that game away, as Plum had so much control. It's a very slow match, all things considered, as well. He takes the game, wins that one, and now sits comfortably with a game lead in this set.
Dude, you talked about the energy coming out from Southeast Asia. I love the banter that's happening between Plum and Sphinx right now, because before the set started, Plum was like talking all this stuff, saying like, you know, sorry for what I'm about to do to you. And then first thing that happens after Sphinx wins the game, he says, sorry back. I love that.
That's awesome. We get into this next game here on Small World's End, and it should be, I feel like, Sphinx favored, as he's been definitely getting like some really big reads on Plum, and when you have a reduction on stage side, it kind of makes it easier for you to get those like really strong landing reads. We'll see if Plum can compete, or Sphinx is going to continue to run away with this game. The Nair comes out there. They're going for the down sig there. The Shuriken gets a double sidelight into recovery.
Almost surprised that second recovery didn't KO, just because of how small this map is at Small World's End. But right now, Plum with that spear, this is what you want against Gauntless, just to have such a huge range advantage. But Sphinx gets in, gets that sidelight into the recovery. Nice lead for Sphinx.
Yeah, he's definitely looking very comfortable here into this game now, as Plum is definitely in the back seat there. Sidelight into Nair, going for the ground pound, doesn't find it there. Another Nair comes out. Recovery from Plum as he goes for a GC Ensig, and Sphinx knowing, okay, you don't have a dodge, I'm going to get a nice little punish, and a dodge there from Plum leads into a Nair, but a little bit too low damage for it to convert into anything too serious. And oh, this is all Sphinx right now on the gauntlet mirror. We got to get off the gauntlets, because right now it is not working out. Sphinx is holding on to this game. But a nice D-Light into Ensig, doesn't KO, barely, and that's so unfortunate. Sphinx lands right back down, the Nair into the weapon toss. Plum holding on to this, and the recovery finally does take it, but only after Plum taking about 100 damage on himself there.
Yeah, that's so unfortunate that the Ensig didn't KO, but I do like that choke out that Plum did there. He had that spear toss up, was really kind of forcing out the options of Sphinx, and then managed to get that pickup into the recovery. But Sphinx, once again, has that damage, has that recovery. Not quite enough, though.
He's in a bad spot. Okay, Plum with an opportunity. Sphinx having to jump high there to avoid the pogos. The ground pound comes in. And an Ensig, but a nice dodge from Sphinx, reading right through that option. The mix-up doesn't find it. Smart double recovery, though, not enough to connect, as Sphinx is able to dodge away and up and just barely avoid it. Nice sidelight into recovery, waits for the dodge through, as Sphinx has fully leaned on the gauntlets play, and that's kind of what I expected on this smaller stage, and he's running away with it right now. Yeah,
his gauntlets have been looking immaculate here. I gotta respect, though, he's been so good at calling out the options of Plum. Wow. Plum hits that Ensig.
Yeah, that's a big read, and that's what Plum's been going for basically all set long. And finally, Sphinx lands right into it at the dodge through. No dodge now. Okay, goes for the full extension, but dodge does come back in time. Oh, big pickup. Another Ensig, though, is very scary versus Gauntlets. Easy to flip with the side air. Another sidelight into Nair. Doesn't find the connection, but he's still happy to take that extra damage. And he's winning a lot of neutral, but we got to stop putting ourselves in spots like that. That is so scary to put yourself right above a Gauntlets player that has a Nair that can easily send you downwards and combo into ground pound or downer. But Plum's happy to take those risks as he has a damage lead now.
Yeah, I mean, he's looking healthy right now. Sphinx has been starting to look more and more awkward as this game has progressed. One pogo. Throws away the weapon, though. Now Sphinx has a chance. Throws away his weapon. Now he has less of a chance, as the next weapon's going to be a sword, and he has not looked good with a sword in this game.
I mean, if it's any time to do it, it's going to be right now. You can find, like, cheesy bow side six here, maybe even, to take it off the bottom. Nice juggle there with an air. He's looking to keep the damage relatively close. You also have to worry about Ensig and side sig, but a side air will just be able to do it outright from center stage in the early red even. But yeah, like you were talking about earlier, that just tends to happen on a stage like that with such small blast zones.
Good attempt there on the side of, I mean, I guess both of them technically. Like, Sphinx had such a good start to that one. His gauntlets were looking really, really good. But when he had the sword, started looking really awful, unfortunately. And then that final stock, it just felt like Plum figured out what he needed to do specifically against the gauntlets of Keith. I'm curious, maybe a different map might be needed.
Yeah, Plum in the chat saying he's done, like, analyze. Like, he says that he has the read. He's talking like a cartoon villain right now from another planet that can, like, scan bioforms. I feel like this is definitely very scary if you're Sphinx, but maybe you can do it. But it looks like we're going to be swapping from his pick previously over to the John Cena, which is quite a funny crossover because it is, in fact, Hattori. So Hattori is one of the legends that gets a lot of crossovers that change their gender outright, like Zuko as well as John Cena. So you have to be very ready for that. I'm sure Sphinx knows that, but like I know when I started playing Brawlhalla, it really tripped me up sometimes.
Really?
Yeah, for sure. Because I'm like, oh, that's not Hattori, that's John Cena. You know, John Cena is like probably like Taros or something. You know, but nope, just the Hattori pick for Plum as we get into game number 3.
Yeah, the Hattori pick, swapping out those gauntlets for a sword. Right now, again, Sphinx looking good with his gauntlets to start this one off, but we already saw Plum having a good response to it. Ooh, eats that down sig though.
I like that discipline for Plum, not going for the recovery there. That can easily be dodged through with the side light, but oftentimes it's not enough. That's the side air into the weapon toss is enough for Sphinx to close out that stock. And once again, lean heavily into these gauntlets, which has worked out really well for him. And Plum yet to get in this game. I want to see the analysis that we found. Is this John Cena's sword? No, surely not, right?
Yeah,
I'm
that's
sorry.
a sword.
Oh wow, that's so sick. Okay, I've never really seen this with like their full the weapon kit, but nonetheless the nairs come out now. The juggles from Plum, looking to stop the fire of Sphinx there, if you will, with the fire extinguisher sword. The nairs continuing to try to find Sphinx's landing, but Sphinx is getting right back down, and then he's once again going to his game where he's trying to anti-air Plum, and it's working out really well.
Yeah, man, Plum saying he's figured it out, but it looks even less figured out than it was at the end of the last one, because Plum's been getting caught. Nice end-sig there. Sphinx still has the movement. That ground pound will cut it off, and that'll be a stock in favor of Plum.
We get the spear cycling right through to the ladder here. The nair comes out, and Sphinx now getting sent all the way up. The nair comes out off the side light, but doesn't find the connection. Down light into down air, and right now, Plum with an opportunity to really bring the damage back. As you know, Sphinx has definitely struggled on this sword to find a lot of success, but I feel like if Sphinx just finds like an end-sig off of Plum jumping, it could really turn the pace of the match, where Sphinx will start having like a really easy option to anti-air. But we go for a weapon toss into unarmed recovery, and the juggle continues here. The ladder going almost all the way off the top. He has a ladder for a reason. The side air comes out in the weapon toss to stop all of that, but Plum had some really crazy plays. Almost was able to steal a stock away there.
Yo, I respect the attempt, really wanted that top of the map quick KO, but Sphinx did a really good job moving far wide to the outside and then got that one hit because Plum burned all of his movement there. You saw him sweat beating. He had no way to come back once that side air connected.
Side air comes out once again, looking for a way to scoop. The side light is a great scoop for Sphinx to start the anti-air game, but Plum is also expending a lot of double jumps to put himself just above side light and jump nair range so that he can get down airs. There's a lot of rock, paper, scissors going on in terms of like Plum jumping. I feel like he's really been able to keep the pace of the match going in his favor, as Sphinx has to react a lot. D-Light into recovery will take it off the top, and Plum fights right back, taking very little damage, only in yellow here. So we see a hold on to the sword. Wow, he's, you know, I feel like the spear was what definitely found a lot of success in the previous games, but he feels differently here as he holds on to the sword.
Yeah, I think he had a game plan coming in with this sword because, I mean, that was one of the key reasons why he made the swap from that Wu Shang. I guess it's like the sword hitbox and that sword range, and you know, it's been kind of working out. He's been playing the aerial game, like you said, those double jumps into the down air, but also like that sword side light has been helping him out a lot.
Yeah, absolutely. A great way to cover a lot of space, as well as almost work as a pseudo anti-air. It has quite a bit of vertical. As I say that, D-Light into side light going for the recovery there. Looking for a vertical way to KO off the top as Plum forfeits his weapon to give himself time to land back down, but the side light into recovery from Sphinx will be able to take that as the Hattori doesn't quite find the mark there.
Yeah, a little less figured out than I think he thought he had it.
Yeah, for sure.
Dude, I just want, like, we need a Plum's chat on the screen type. Like, he's got his whole like anime narration going on. He's like, this is not it. Do I bet? Keith, I'm taking a bet. Like, he's having his whole anime moment right now, and I don't know how old he is, but it's amazing and I love it.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's interesting to swap off the John Cena because it's hard to fight a character you really can't see. So we're going to see him swap over to Chun-Li. That's, I mean, something on the side of Sphinx is like pretty impressive. He's hitting a floating ladder a lot of the times. Quite hard to find exactly where to hit the hitboxes, but Sphinx seeing right through it somehow as Plum swaps over to the Chun-Li here. Back against the wall, game number 4. We swap back to the pick that I am curious why we swapped in the first place. Maybe having like a read that I don't have, but we go right back to the Chun-Li. Happy to see this pick for sure for Le Plum.
Did you play the dual queue? Because there was a lot of Ghost Brawl in that dual queue and a lot of opportunities to practice against an opponent that you can't quite see, but you got their smoke clouds, you know generally where they are. And maybe Sphynx played a lot of that because he looked really solid in that last game. And now we are here in game number 4. Sphynx already up 2-1.
And I like what Plum is employing here, as Mr. 33rd said himself. If you're kind of struggling with someone on stage, the best thing to do is hold on to the wall very consistently and wait for them to go off stage. If you're confident you can win the offstage game, it's a way you can beat a lot of players that are supposedly better than you. And I think Plum was definitely happy to like hold on to the wall to start the game and then get action going. And Plum is like holding on to the corner really well here. I like this start from Plum, but Sphinx gets right back in the game as Plum swings away all that advantage with an N-sig as well as a ground pound from Sphinx. And down sig connects, sends upwards. Scary spot to be in.
Yep, Sphynx stealing that damage advantage now. Goes for the second recovery, not quite enough, not able to get that connection. Plum with that stage control hits the side sig, and that will be a KO once again. Small World's End, a little too small for people to survive on.
Yeah, this is quite interesting. Like Plum is like really not wanting to hold center stage. I feel like when he's going to center, it's often a bait to try to catch Sphinx, trying to catch him for it. As we go right back in the corner once again. We get a nair there, sending Sphinx downwards, going for the nair into the ground pound, going for the second ground pound, doesn't find it there, but a recovery anyway. And that's nice extra credit for Plum's first stock here, as Sphinx has to equalize with the downlight.
I like the attempt there from Plum afterwards as well. Like he hit that recovery, you saw him throw out the nair, wasn't in position. Great read with the N-sig. Plum, it makes you wonder why he made the swap, because he's looking so good here in game number 4.
Maybe Plum like just bought that crossover and was like feeling it, you know, like it's like I just got new shoes, I gotta wear them all the time. But it definitely wasn't the pick there, as they both swing with the side light at the same time. Gauntlet players sharing that one game plan for sure. And yeah, once again Plum is like holding onto the corner. He's like, I'm not gonna leave the corner, you're gonna have to burst in here and I'm gonna avoid it and then reversal you for it. As he once again like goes to center, then immediately dips into the corner. Sphinx having to really find a way through. Plum, nice nair there as an anti-air and an unarmed nair. Quite active hitbox, as we now just need one spear recovery, side light into downlight into recovery with no dodge, and Plum takes the first or the second stock there with that spear.
It's like you said earlier, man, Plum really controlling the pace of these games, the pace of this set, and Sphinx in general having to respond. Sometimes it works out for him, but right now it's not working out for him, as Plum, he's just been running right over Sphinx.
Side air, looking for that extended edge guard sequence, but so far I feel like the only one that's found them consistently, I mean even not even really consistently, but Sphinx is able to find some edge guards, but Plum really not like playing for that advantage on the gauntlets. More so like rinse and repeat, send off stage, rinse and repeat. Side light into wait there, almost going for the recovery, doesn't decide to pull the trigger, but an air comes out anyway and another recovery. Sphinx in a really bad spot off stage as Plum goes for the dash jump, turnaround ground pound, doesn't find it. Sphinx with 2 ground pounds in rebuttal, and all of a sudden this is so scary because Sphinx almost in the exact same spot as game number 1 said on Demon Island, but was able to steal a game away in this position.
At the same time though, Sphinx is really hurt. He's gonna have to play a perfect stock, and this is still elimination side, so Plum's got to be nervous, but also like one good hit.
I mean, any given Small World's endgame can a Gauntlets player steal it away from you, especially on the Val. The side sig will find a way to KO very early. Side light's coming through, and this is where Plum can struggle. He drops his weapon there. As we see a little bit of a flub of execution. Side light, and we go for a full extension there. Extended recovery as we go for the exhausted, but doesn't find his side light. Into wait, gets the dodge, but doesn't find the timing as Plum now has Sphinx on the corner, walks up with the end light. Sphinx, a lot of respect here, avoiding Plum. A side light from both players and a weapon toss to force Plum in the corner now. Plum having to expend all the resources to avoid the side light, but the ground pound comes in and Sphinx steals the game away once again on the gauntlets, and Sphinx having the read at the end of the day. Oh my goodness.
Plum just making wrong call after wrong call in those final moments, burned a little too much. Plum was the one who was more willing to do kind of the riskier plays. You saw those like gravity cancel side lights in that final moment. You saw these like various just like a little bit too risky plays.